part of the ancient world order that is returning anew. One of the voices proclaiming, this is a God that's talking to you.
In ancient wisdom traditions, when we come to earth, we come with a guide. In ancient Egypt, it was called the Ka. In Yoruba, it was called the Ori. In New Age spirituality, it was called the Spirit Guide. In the West, it's called the Guardian Angel. Today, we're going to discuss a near-death experience for Skher, how it heightened his awareness to hear voice.
The voice is something that we all have. We all have it, and that was the technology that was used, that still is used, but it's being blocked, to communicate. Just like right now we have YouTube to get instructions, we have cell phones to reach out to touch somebody. Before these things were in existence, we have this internal communicator that speaks to us and gives us instructions about many situations, and it also is a communication and direct connection through the holy overseer himself. And it is called the voice. It's called the voice within. It's the guide that guides us through our journey.
Yeah. And so it's basically that inner voice that we hear if we just listen to it.
You know, subconscious is a memory of a voice of past experiences. Superconscious is a voice that's still the same voice that expresses things to you that hasn't yet come. So you have a voice of a moment of expressing its past experience, and you have the same voice that expresses where you have to go.
All right, so that makes a lot of sense to me. Okay, so basically you're saying we have a voice, one that's based on memory. And when you say that...
It's the same voice,
no, but the
same voice is vast. It's a vast knowledge of information through serious technology incorporated in the immaculate design that we call the human body that we're dealing with, and which we call the human experience.
Right. So because I'm thinking, I think that's interesting because it's, you talk about the superconscious and the subconscious, right? And so to me it would seem that the subconscious is that voice that, how we just play this stuff over and over based on our experience, like you just said, based on memory, right? And so, let me finish your thought. So, so it's based on memory, and so that's why some of us have these memories that we play over and over again. Sometimes that keeps us in a place of dishealth.
Well,
and then we have another voice that tries to guide us. So a lot of times we have a difficult time distinguishing between, the one that's not healthy and the one that's trying to guide us to health or trying to guide us to through life.
Right, through the journey and the path in which provide for us to achieve our goals. Okay. We all have times, or we all have different methods of achieving our goals, and sometimes it's the superconscious that expresses the future to tell us follow these steps to achieve our goal, which means you have this thought in your mind that you need to make a phone call to a specific person. That hasn't happened yet. So you call that person, and all of a sudden that person says, well, I'm glad you called me because I was just thinking about you. And I have this program I want you to get involved with. See, that helped you get to your future goal. And that was something that you heard that you followed. And then you have the other thing, the other subconscious, the other voice that says that I'm familiar with your past. So in the past, there was a certain way of being that it's in your bloodline that tries to keep you on that path, because the path that you follow is not just yours, it's the path that you've been following based on your past, your present, and your future. See, a lot of times people say, well, my future is I'm a doctor. Well, you'd be surprised that prior to, in other generations past, you was a doctor then as well. But now we're just in a new day and time. Where the instruments and the technology is different. In a new body, things are different. But that's who you are. So it's not necessarily where I'm somebody different now than I was in past lives. I'm still the same. The thing that has changed is the evolution of mankind and the instruments in which we use to achieve our goals.
Right. So,
or our intentions.
so now we're delving into this whole past life things as we become. Yeah. So I mean, so that's something we want to do a conversation on, just generally speaking, but. Because you're saying now you're just continuing on, but anyway.
Well, life is a continuum, but people don't really recognize that.
It ends here.
It doesn't end.
Right.
It continues. What you don't achieve in this life, the task still is you have to achieve that.
Right.
At some other place in history, it still continues to go forward.
Right. So now I'd like to get back to when you were talking about. How you got a heightened awareness of the voice,
okay,
right? From a near-death experience.
Well, there was a time in my life where I had a major incident that happened to me, and I was in a car crash and had on a surgical table, and they said I flatlined. Okay, and when I flatlined, I felt my spirit and my soul, the tunnel, and my spirit moved me into a space that I hadn't been before. And it was a rapid space. It was a space that moved, that I had in company with me a guide, someone who guided me through the tunnels to get to wherever I went at that time. And at that time that I know I landed to a location that was not here. And in that moment, there was another presence. There was a presence of a few, but there was a main presence of an energy. And the energy was bright and large. And it was so bright and so large and so powerful, I knew that the energy that I was in front of had the power to change the world. Okay? And I knew that it was energy that was not of earthbound. It was not of this planet. I knew that too. Because what people don't recognize is when you're here, you're conscious, and when you're there, you're also conscious. So when your time ends on the planet, the consciousness continues. It doesn't end. So that's why they say, whatever you do, please leave in a very good frame of mind, because that's the mindset that you're going to have when you go there. And I can say that because what you're expressing, that I expressed in the book and I'm expressing right now, was because I've had this experience, I know of its existence.
Right. When you started talking about the experience, I had read numerous stories about people having near-death experiences, NDEs. And so when somebody tells you that they have an experience that's very similar to what many, many other people have experienced, and people have said they felt like they saw a bright light or white light. Well, they went through a tunnel, they saw a white light, and so many people had very, very similar experiences. So.
Right. This is an experience. This is not an experience that's only mine. Right. Many, many others have had this experience.
Right.
So, but not everybody remembers all the details of the experience, and not all are willing to share their experience.
Right.
Because you definitely become aware and awaken to something different, and only to understand that difference is to have that experience.
Right.
So a lot of people hold that information inward and won't share it, but then when they do read books or see situations or see shows that other people have had the experience, then they become more open to express what happened to them. Now, not everyone also goes to the same destination.
Okay.
In those moments.
Right.
Okay. There are certain realms and certain purposes for everyone as individuals.
Now, I just wanted to just kind of bring something that I thought was interesting. Is that it's from the Tibetan Book of the Dead? They talk about how, in afterlife. Now we're going down these roads, but how in the afterlife you're going to it's not just the Tibetan Book of the Dead, but generally speaking, in terms of other traditions, that you're going to, where you go is determined by how your actions and how you lived here at this time. But in the Tibetan Book of the Dead, you're going to see all these energies or entities based on your own, your own karma. But anyway, going down that road, I want to do that in another discussion.
It's an easy conversation that we can get to the point and then get out and get into details another time.
Right.
But you're going to face what you did not, or that you faced here, but you'll face it there at a different level.
Okay.
Okay? Everything that you'll face there are things that's not resolved here.
Right. Well, that's one of the things. I mean, this is what the traditions say. That's one of the reasons why, like in the East, they say you shouldn't have. You want to let go of desire, because whatever you desire, you're going to be pulled back to earth. Africans say that too, that you're going to be pulled back to earth based on what your desires, and in terms of your where you go when you leave here, and when you come back, where you come back to is going to be based on your karma, or based on your things you did in the life before you left. And
well,
so yeah, it's just different. It just depends on.
Well, the thing of it is this: is you're going to have all these experiences while you're here.
Right.
The question is, which ones outweigh the others?
Right.
Okay. Did I do more negative things than I did positive? Was I more lustful than I was peaceful? Was I more, everything has to have a balance.
Right.
So when you look at your life and the things that motivate you and the things that stimulate you, you got to look at where you are and which things stimulate you the most.
Right.
How is it balanced with all the other attributes? Because being a part of this experience, we have many different attributes of our experience.
Right.
And see, so we're supposed to take all these experiences and balance them out. It's a good thing.
Because if you don't balance them out, the universe is going to balance them out.
Well, the universe will always balance them out, but we also have to find where we fit. Because there might be something that gives me a drive that allows me to achieve my goal. See, so if I was more apt to feeling the vibration of love, and all I wanted to do was love and love and love, then that might be the attribute that I need to open my heart to a level to where I can express what love looks like and feels like, as long as I maintain a positive outlook and encouragement and deliver all goodness in that process.
Right.
Versus lust or greed. Yeah. See, so those things are really good attributes, provided you balance within that to be well. Right. Because everything has to be well in the process.
Well, but it's just because I'm always going to focus on the science of it, right? So it's really about everything always going to go back to a state of equilibrium, right? So if you look at the laws, that's the thing. If we learn the laws, right? And I'll talk about this over and over, but if we learn the laws, then you realize how it plays out, and not just in physical laws in terms of physical phenomena, but just in our personal lives. So
laws of humanity.
But I'm saying just the laws of the universe,
right?
That will also apply to us,
right?
Right. And
everything applies to us.
So for example,
equal mesh.
Everything is going to have it has to be a balance. Everything has to go back to equilibrium. That's a law,
right?
And so whatever you do at some point is going to have to balance out. So if you put negative into the universe, then negative is going to come back.
I'm going to tell you this.
Put positive to the universe, and positive comes back
positive
to
comes
you.
back. And I'll tell you this: those that's wreaking havoc out here, they have no idea what they're going to face.
Right.
I'm telling you, if they knew, that's why it's books that we produce to try to tell them what it is that they're facing. It's elders with stories to try to tell them what they're facing. Parents, and also experiences along the journey of people that they'll cross paths with to deliver messages to them, so to help them catch it, because it doesn't end here. Okay?
Yeah, right, exactly.
Right,
so it's going to balance out somewhere.
Right. So what happened is, when I had my near-death experience and I went to that place, the voice that I've always heard my whole life became very profound. It came louder. It came clearer. It became more precise. It came like it's next to me. That's how clear it is to me now. Right. I hear it. I see what it's saying. It points me the way. It shows me the internals, the functions of others that I'm with. And so it's very easy for me to have that communication. An understanding when it communicates to me, and how to follow those words or those messages.
Right. But that's what they say. Like people who have had near-death experiences, some of them come back with an extra ability.
Extra senses. The senses are heightened.
Right.
And it could be one or two reasons. first off, we had an experience that gave us a choice. The choice that we face after that is, do I want to stay or go there? Or do I want to be here? Okay? So, the moment that you go there and you're given the choice to come back, from that day forward, you see how wonderful this experience is. Even if you didn't know how wonderful it was, in all the details and facets of the experience, no matter what demographic, no matter where you live, no matter how economically successful you are, no matter what it is, children, no children, all those things that we have in our experiences have wonders inside of them.
Yeah.
So, would I rather be there, outside of my body, or would I rather be here, inside my body? And if I choose to be inside my body, then I choose to do all the things that's necessary to get it right.
Right, yeah.
So I'm going to listen to the voice very clearly because I'm going to follow it in detail.
Now, what do you tell people? Because some people aren't real clear. Like you know, that's what some people call intuition, or
Well, no,
yeah.
it's not intuition. It's not I've been here before. I've seen this before. No,
I'm not talking about
it
that.
is a clear voice.
So what happens when
that
people
speaks with you that everyone knows that they hear?
But most of us aren't clear though.
Well, they are clear, but they use their memory and their conscious and their ego to choose differently, because the steps that you're asked to follow aren't necessarily the steps that you choose in a conscious frame of mind based on your thoughts, on feelings of what this felt like or what this feels like.
Right.
So I'd rather choose what I know, what feels good, versus doing something that I don't know what the outcome's going to be.
And there's something to say for when you're not in a healthy frame of mind, when you have a lot of things blocking. So like, for example, some people, the ego blocks, right? For other of us, because we have so many negative experiences, and those experiences, the memories keep playing over and over again, then it can get in the way of you being able to hear the voice clearly. So that's what I'm saying. So we're filtering it through memory, which for many of us, some of us, that's based on trauma, or just based on some really bad experiences, or some negative experiences, or things that disappointments, just all these things that we go through life. And this is why it's important to heal. If you're going to have, you have to heal that stuff in order to be able to get so that you can hear clearly.
Okay.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah.
Well, let me tell you about life. In life, we have so many feel-good moments. We have so many feel-good moments that are private and personal to us all. Feel-good moments that feels good when we do certain things, or experience certain things, or play in a certain way, or even get money in a certain way, or there's so many feel-good moments, but many of those feel-good moments, they have the exact opposite that has detrimental effects to it. But because we got away with the feel-good moment so much, we believe that we'll get away with it continuously.
What do you mean?
Okay.
Because
I was saying
something.
There's some. I know, and the voice tries to clear the path for you so you don't get harmed by your thoughts or your actions. The voice helps you clean up the mess.
Right.
Because a lot of feel-good moments has the opportunity to deliver a mess in your life as well. Okay, I'll make it simple. And now this is not something that this is very clear. For example, a person out in the night that's running rapid, and then they break into a car and the adrenaline rush feels so good because they love the adrenaline, they love that high of the adrenaline, and then they get away with something, and then it feels so good. They feel real good, and then they'll do it again instead of not doing it again. See, because they got away, they think they can do it again.
Okay.
But that's a feel-good moment. The adrenaline rush did something to the endorphins of their body and their mind that excited them. Well, that same endorphin rush and adrenaline rush comes in many different things. Many different things. Not always doing something negative. It's doing something positive that can be negative. I mean, it comes in many different ways. So those are the things that we choose that we don't want to not do anymore, because they think if you follow the voice and follow the God Spirit that calls on you through the cell phone called the pineal gland, that's where the voice comes through. But it's the God voice in you. You say, I don't want to be that right now because I'll do that later. That's the voice. The voice comes through the pineal gland, which is the God voice. That's the God consciousness. Okay?
And that's what
everybody
I'm saying.
knows that, but they don't want to be that person right now because they love being on the planet and the planet's desires of the planet that doesn't look like God consciousness. But they don't know God consciousness looks like all that. You just have to do it in its proper order.
Okay. I think, yeah, and that's very interesting what you just said. I was just thinking in terms of how many of us don't hear the voice clearly. It's clouded, and because you're talking about one thing, but I was just saying how why it's important to heal, because some people keep play the memory of things that are not good. You talk about the feel good stuff, and I'm saying like something that hurt you. Your parents did something, somebody did something bad to you, or said something bad to you, and you keep playing that over and over. Right, and
because you're walking guarded.
Or you've been traumatized.
When you hold on trauma and you keep playing the same thing over and over again, you're walking guarded. When you walk guarded, you're going to miss a lot of things.
Right. So not only you're walking guarded, you're not even clear because you can't. It's like
it's
like the voice of your experiences. Yeah, I got you.
Right.
I'm saying the voice of your experiences. Have the voice of the experiences that you have taken over. It's like it's hijacked you, right?
And they do hijack you. Those are the energies and entities that's on your field that walks with you and talks with you. And you can't see it, you don't know, and you hear them, feel them, because they're attachments that you have to learn how to. Sometimes you need professional help to cleanse your outer field and cleanse you internally. Right. But you have to be willing to go through that process.
Right. Yeah.
To be. That's why they say in church they dunk you in the water to cleanse you.
Right. It's a purification.
Right. It's a purification system, which is it has the same identifying results, they say, as many other modalities in which they use to cleanse you.
Right. So now I get some of that, because now that's what they mean by being reborn, so to speak.
Right.
So to speak, because it's different levels of it. So one level is the healing aspects of it, but then other levels of it is the enlightenment aspects.
Right.
Of it.
Well, you have to begin somewhere.
Right.
And no one starts the process in graduate school. They start from elementary.
Right. Yeah.
Okay. So you're not gonna go to enlightenment until you start at the bottom. You have to be cleansed first to begin the
process.
Journey.
Right. So the thing to me is, in terms of the voice, is that I was just because some of us really do struggle with, like, you're not real clear. You're just not clear. You have your own voice, but there's something else that's speaking that's there. But a lot of times it's hard to distinguish between your stuff and your stuff and your higher self. That's basically when we talk about that higher self. That's another way in which people refer to it.
Right, it's your higher self.
Right.
But the problem is because of technology, the movies, all these things have diluted your reality to look at life in a 2D situation, not even 3D. Forget 5D. Forget 7D.
Or 9D.
Forget 90. You'll never get to 90.
Right.
Okay? Because that's how life have created you 3D. To see the world, which keeps you in the machine.
Right. And that's the materialism.
Right. The materialism, make your money, follow whatever you see on TV as being the satisfaction mechanism
or being the highest level. Because if you live in a culture that says the highest and greatest good is what you can achieve financially, then you stuck in this 2D, 3D dimension.
That's the wheel, or the karma system. That keeps us locked in to keep that rolling. Because that's a machine that needs our energy
to keep
and
it going.
all of the things that we do to keep this thing going. They've taken you away from looking at inward and in the earth. And all the things that keeps the system going.
Right.
That's what keeps it going.
Right.
And because they're stripping that, they're having you do this to keep it going.
Right.
But naturally, the the environment itself keeps it going. Going back to the beginning, and how was it that we can allow ourselves to open up and hear that voice better? Well, first off, you have to know it's there and it's real. And the way that you can begin to identify it and separate it from all the other things, when you shut down and go to bed to rest, it tells you to look at things. It talks to you then. It prepares you for your tomorrow. It prepares you to look at what you did yesterday. It prepares you to how to fix tomorrow. And that's when if you begin to notice your dreams, that's when you'll begin to understand it when you're awake.
Right. So we're going to have a whole discussion on dreams. So,
Okay.
So we'll move it to that direction. At maybe the next conversation we'll talk about dreams.
Okay. But before we close out, it's very important because in the book it has all the details of the voice, and it's called The Voice Explained. And The Voice Explained is extremely important because it tells you what it is that I use to solidify and confirm my reality about the voice being in an entity within itself, but it's with you all the time. So, messages to the true descendants. The information's in there, so please get it. There's information in here that's extremely special. It's true and it's for you.
Okay.
All right.
Yeah, so,
I'm Skher Aakhu.
and I'm Dr. Heter.
Take back our
This is Universal Consciousness, where we
and
bring
our
truth to light, to
unlimited
promote
mind.
wellness,
And
love,
when I speak,
light,
hear the
and
echoes
consciousness.
of
Wherever we can
ancient
find
voices
it.
anew.
That's right.
This is
right
a
now,
God
that's the truth
talking
descendants.
to you. But then
Voice,
I'm talking to
real.
gods too.
Let it call you. Receive the call. Take it.